forward and start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
The town is looking for volunteers to serve as community liaisons and help shape Grafton's future. The Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness 2.0 core team will help identify and address climate impacts in Grafton to make our community more resilient. Visit tinyurl.com/GraftonMVP to apply. The state primary election is Tuesday, September 1st. In-person early voting continues in the Municipal Center gym tomorrow and Thursday from 8:30 to 5 p.m. and Friday from 8:30 to 1 p.m. On Election Day, voters must go to their designated polling locations at Grafton Middle School or Millbury Street Elementary between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. Grafton Recreation will host their Collectibles Fair on Saturday, September 12th from 10 to 3 at Grafton Middle School. There will be coins, comics, toys, records, trading cards, and sports memorabilia vendors. That is one of my favorite events of the year. I'm just going to put a plug in for that one. So. Lots of great goodies. Get a bunch of my holiday shopping done.
Lucky Jen.
I more meant the kids. But,
Oh,
okay, so we do have a public hearing tonight. We're going to start with the roadway layout for the Woodland Hill subdivision, Audrina Lane, Brook Street, and Dillon Way.
Okay, I'm going to do it in the right order this time. I'll read the legal notice first. In accordance with the provision of Chapter 82, Section 22 of Mass General Law, the Select Board intends to decree, lay out, and make public the roadways in the Woodland Hill subdivision, Grafton, Massachusetts, known as Audrina Lane, Brook Street, and Dillon Way. The Select Board intends to lay out the above referenced roadways at their meeting on Tuesday, August 25th, 2026, in Conference Room A of the Grafton Memorial Municipal Center, located at 30 Providence Road, starting at 7 p.m. Remote participation will be available using Zoom. Those interested are invited to attend this public hearing and offer comments in person or via Zoom. I move the board vote to open the public hearing.
second.
Okay, motion made, seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is open. Does anybody really need any preface for this? We touched on it at our last meeting when we sent it to the planning board for their recommendation. We get the email today that they approved this to go for acceptance, and as far as they're concerned is ready to go before town meeting. So is there anything the board wishes to discuss?
I'm good. Is
Is there anything the public would like to add?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair and Select Board. Roger Trahan, 4 Old Upton Road. And so as not to stray, I have a prepared statement. And I wanted to add my input to Evan's August 11th, 2026 executive.
We're not looking for public comment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Public
This is
comment
part of.
in the hearing on the road acceptance.
All right.
I'm sorry.
All right. You know what? Now
comment.
that I'm up here, all right. I'm going to wing it because I do have a comment, and I didn't plan on it. I've been to that neighborhood. In spite of people lamenting the clear cutting, people got to live somewhere. I think it's an amazing neighborhood, especially the fact that the 4-story apartment buildings, based on the building code, are accessible, at least insofar as they're required to have elevators. So I'm going to sing their praises just for that. And so, although again, people are lamenting, including myself, clear cutting. Again, people have to live somewhere, and welcoming all those people to town, and maybe they'll help in filling vacancies on all the boards and committees. So I guess more is better.
It's a good plug. Thank you, Roger. Does anybody else have any public comment for the road acceptance? Okay, hearing none, I think we can close the public hearing.
I move the board vote to close the public hearing.
second.
Okay, motion made, seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
In accordance with Chapter 82 of the Massachusetts General Laws, I move the board vote to lay out the roadways in the Woodland Hill subdivision known as Audrina Lane, Brook Street, and Dillon Way as public townways and submit to town meeting the Woodland Hill subdivision road layout as presented this evening. In the event that the road acceptance is passed at town meeting, I move the board vote to sign and submit all associated documents, including the Mylars.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Next up, public comment. Welcome back, Roger.
All right, I'm back. Again, Roger Trahan for Old Upton Road, and with a prepared statement. So I want to add my input to Evan's August 11th, 2026 executive summary of our May 11th spring annual town meeting. That summary is contained in tonight's meeting packet under agenda item 8, correspondence. We had texted that it was my understanding you weren't going to necessarily discuss that in detail, so I'm putting this at the front of the meeting instead of waiting. From the perspective of a voter / attendee and former town moderator, I appreciate the efforts of everyone who orchestrated that meeting, and for Evan's detailed summary, which not only summarizes what occurred, but also recognizes areas of opportunity for future town meetings. It's important to note that the Massachusetts Municipal Modernization Act of 2016 recognized some beneficial updates regarding town meeting that now add the select board, town administrator, and others to some decisions which were previously vested solely in the moderator. While some have provided feedback regarding the length of the so-called pageantry before we addressed any of the articles and the time checking back into the meeting, people should also be reminded of efficiencies and improvements we've realized in recent years. Among these are, first, voters from any of the 5 precincts can check into town meeting with any of the election workers who have a laptop. Not so long ago, each precinct had its own line and voter list in the form of a paper binder. So we've really come a long way. Second, combining all reauthorization of revolving accounts into a single warrant article. Those used to be separate articles, numbering perhaps as many as 20 separate articles. Third, in recent years, we now combine other historically routine warrant articles into consent agendas. And fourth, electronic voting has allowed us to vote our conscience without feeling pressured by attendees, including friends and family, to vote in a certain way. Regarding how many may attend a meeting is a neat trick, which is constrained by parking spaces. In the absence of a shuttle system from other public or private lots, and whether people hedge that things will go their way at town meeting and choose to limit their voice to a related town election, as we saw with this May's override and school roof project. Again, I gather that some people avoided attending town meeting, anticipating a nightmare parking scenario, or showed up and actually couldn't find a spot and drove back home, while possibly dropping family members off, but not attending the meeting themselves. Lastly, the discrepancy of 1,100 on the town clerk's voter roll versus 1,234 votes cast at our February 6, 2010 special town meeting is easily explained. That meeting, which I presided over, was held at the then high school, now middle school, regarding the current high school building project. 1,100 was the initial check-in of those who attended part or all of the debate prior to the vote. Subsequently, since the meeting had earlier decided on a secret ballot, everyone in the 3 venues, auditorium, gymnasium, and cafeteria, checked in once more on the auditorium stage to then cast their secret ballots. There were many people who sensed that the debate was concluding while watching from home, or received a call by friends or family who were in attendance and headed down just to vote, resulting in the increased number of 1,234. So that explains that portion of your summary. So that's basically something I wish to add, and basically thanks to all who pulled this off. It's not an easy gig. It's easy to be in attendance without really appreciating how much goes into it. I know firsthand. So those are my comments, and while I have everyone's attention, we still have 3 vacancies on Accessibility Advisory Commission. I sound like a broken record. And people who may not want to jump in for a 3-year commitment don't have to. 1 vacancy is for a term, unexpired term ending next June of 27, June 30th, and the other 2 vacancies are for unexpired terms ending June 30th of 28. So, again, thanks for everything.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Roger. Okay, first up, the select board has 1 appointment for 2 positions. I'm sorry, did we have anybody on Zoom?
You do not.
Okay, all right. Jack Fontana, come on down.
Good evening.
So you applied for both the Trustees of Soldiers and Sailors Memorials and Veterans Advisory Committee.
Correct.
Awesome. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself? I mean, we got your citizen action form, but if you want to introduce yourself to the town and
Sure. Well, first of all, good evening. Thank you for allowing me to be here. Jack Fontana, resident of Grafton. I was fortunate and very proud to have grown up in Grafton, went through all public schools, graduated from the high school in 2017, and then went on to Massachusetts Maritime Academy, where I graduated in 2021 with a bachelor's degree in emergency management, home and security. After about 2 years of working in the corporate world at National Grid in emergency management, I decided I wanted to do something more. I wanted to do something more to give back, and I joined, I actually reserved a commission in the United States Coast Guard as a reserve officer. I've been doing that for the past 2 years down at Joint Base Cape Cod, and I love every minute of it. And it allows me to do both reserves and still work at National Grid. And I've since moved back to Grafton after living in Dorchester for 3 years, so I want to take this opportunity to give back to the town that did so much to me. My family still live here on Carroll Road. I live on North Street now with 2 friends, but I just wanted to give back to the town that has done so much for me, and represent veterans that I've seen get out of the Coast Guard and get out of military services and not be well represented. So I've seen what negative effects that can have on people that are getting out, and I want to be able to help them out in any way possible through this committee to help them out as they transition out of the military and into their new lives. So thank you again for having me here.
that was amazing. Yeah, I mean, you hit every nail on the head. You are absolutely getting into this for all the right reasons, and you know, the community is deeply appreciative that you step forward to do this. But you know, I think that's something that we generally hear about is a lot of concern for both our seniors and our veterans and what sort of support systems we have in place for them. You know, we have a great veterans agent, but you know, the more people we have in there helping out, obviously the better.
Absolutely.
And there's also been a lot of concern over the last few years that a lot of our veterans are aging out, you know, and they can't participate the way that they used to and help out. So, you know, it's critical that we get younger vets involved, and really just thank you for stepping forward.
Of course, yeah, that was one of my main kind of priorities to do this, was to help out and then understand that a lot of veterans are of greater age, and I can represent a much younger age in this committee, and future veterans.
Any comments or questions from the board?
No, just thank you for stepping up.
Yeah, I'd like to echo that. Thank you, and you're going to be a great addition to these boards, so welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, take a motion.
All right, I move the board vote to appoint Jack Fontana to the trustees of Soldiers and Sailors Memorials and the Veterans Advisory Committee.
Second.
Okay, motion made, seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
coming in. The town clerk will send you a letter about, you know, both committees. You'll have to be sworn in. You can make an appointment once you receive that. You are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, but under no obligation, so.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next up, we have some town administrator appointments. We'll start with the activities coordinator at the Council on Aging, Allison. Welcome. Nice to see you.
Hi, I'm Allison Brissett. I am a resident of Grafton. Been living here for about 16 years or so. And so, yes, I applied for the activities coordinator position for the Grafton Senior Center. When I saw the position posted, I was immediately attracted to it because I thought, okay, this is great. It combines my interest in the community and being part of the community with my professional experience. So, wanted to take on this role and this job. So, I have my professional background. I worked at Harvard University for 15 years doing event planning for their community relations department and their alumni relations department. So, organizing and managing several community events for all ages. And so, again, this just seemed like a great fit to combine my professional experience with my commitment to the town. So, let me know if you have any questions.
I will let somebody else kick it off the stage. Anybody have any comments or questions?
I just have a comment. We've had the opportunity to work together briefly, and I'll just say that your attention to detail, your creativity, and your work ethic have always blown me away. And I think the town is very, very lucky to have you as one of its newest employees.
Oh, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
And I'll just add, thank you for stepping up. It's great.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm very excited. I think it will be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to working with the senior community and Stephanie and the Council of Aging team, and just to be able to continue the great work that is already happening, and hopefully to expand upon it and bring some more visibility to not just the senior community, but to the whole Grafton community, with all the great work happening at the senior center.
I love that because our seniors are just amazing. They are some of my favorite people. It is just a delight to spend time down there and, answer questions, catch up on things, listen to how Grafton used to be. They are a very active group. We do have a lot of great services and things that happen down there, activities. So it'd be great for more people to be aware of those things. Grafton aside, my mom is now in her 70s and does not consider herself to be a senior, but I've encouraged her to visit the Rutland Senior Center because I'm like, you'd be surprised what goes on at the Grafton one. It's really an awesome place. I'm looking forward to spending time there in a few years. You just give it a shot.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it's a great group. Stephanie's wonderful. You're gonna do great.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Take a motion.
I move the board vote to affirm the appointment of Allison Brissett to the position of Activities Coordinator at the Council on Aging.
Second.
Okay, motion made, seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay, welcome aboard. Next up, we have a data collector for the assessor's office. We'll call Daniel up.
Hi, good evening.
Welcome.
My name is Dan Colella. I'll be your new data collector for the assessor's office. My background is building construction and real estate, and most recently I'm a software engineer for Dell Technologies, and I'm coming back to public sector. So I hope to be able to help you out as much as I can here.
Awesome. Anything in particular that drew you back to the public sector, or?
I worked for the town of Dudley. I was a firefighter there, and also superintendent of public water supplies.
Oh, wow.
So I'm vested in the retirement system. So I want to come back and put some more time into the system.
Yeah, great.
Okay.
Any questions, comments from the board?
Just thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, you seem great qualifications, and
Yeah.
again, another great department to work for.
Yeah.
Big fan of Tammy. So
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
take a motion.
I move the board vote to affirm the appointment of Daniel Colella to the position of Data Collector in the Assessor's Office.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. Our last appointment for tonight, we have the Planning Conservation Department Assistant and Catherine.
And Catherine is with us on Zoom.
Hi, good evening. Are you able to hear me okay?
We can.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your time. My name is Catherine DeSeely, and yes, I will be taking over the Planning and Conservation Department Assistant position. I met with Christian, Leah, and William, and I'm very excited. My background as far as currently work for the town of Northrow as a board secretary for their conservation and planning departments. I also work for Passion Dental in Marlborough during their billing. And I also have a third job actually with Lowe's as a head cashier. So stay busy, work hard. Lifelong New Englander. I grew up here in Boylston, currently live in West Boylston, went to school in Plymouth up in New Hampshire. And overall, I'm very excited to be working for a municipality and see the great work that's being done.
Awesome. I didn't expect the North Row Planning and Conservation Agent part. That's great. You should fit right in. And I know Miss Roy is incredibly happy that you have dental experience.
Very excited.
Oh, really? Good.
Any questions, comments from the board?
Oh, I think that covers all the bases. Work ethic is incredible. Very, very excited to have you on board.
Yeah. Yep. Take a motion.
Thank you.
I move the board vote to affirm the appointment of Catherine DeSeely to the position of Department Assistant in the Planning and Conservation Offices.
Second.
Okay, motion made seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. Great. Thank you for coming in tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for meeting with me.
Yeah, welcome aboard. Okay, we're gonna shift over to new business and start with a general update from the Nelson Memorial Park trustees.
What would you like to know?
Well, it's less of an update, more of a conversation.
What would you like us to come and sit up?
If we would, please, so that everybody can hear you. But you're free to sit wherever. Just pick a comfortable spot. I don't have to worry about Skip. I knew he would.
Yeah. Not shy.
No, nor should you be. You've done all this. So welcome in. Skip and I talked about this casually, just kind of kicking things off. We have the town. Well, when I say we, the town and the park have kind of, started helping each other out as of late with, things like maintenance and lawn care. We also we had the trees that came down in that middle, kind of parking area, the dead trees that were brought down earlier, and it kind of kicked off a discussion of, what do we want to do? What is everybody's grand vision for, how we can make Nelson Park more of a draw, for lack of a better phrase. Get it more utilized. It's well utilized right now, but is there anything that we can be doing to, bring more people down there or utilize the building? Because even when I mentioned the trees coming down, Evan and I were talking, we're like, well, we could plant some, but then where do we plant them? Do we want to plant them around the perimeter? Do we want to, replace some of the ones in the interior so that it's more like a park layout and, a green space, place for people to sit? Do we want to bring in more stone and kind of expand that parking area some? And I know I'm saying it's your park, but just, it felt like a good time for us to all kind of sit down and have a discussion about possibilities for the future and kind of like what both teams would like to get out of this.
I think one thing we've been talking about recently is trying to get something into the building instead of just letting it sit there stagnant. It'd be nice to, get some other town department in there or whatever. We're not really looking to go out and do a retail rental, right? That's what we discussed.
Yeah, no.
We don't want to do that. We'd like to get something related to the town in there. As far as use, I gotta tell you, I live right there and it's constantly used. And I'll tell you one thing I personally enjoy, and I know a lot of the other neighbors really enjoy, are the concerts in the park when they have the one there to draw some people in at nighttime, when there aren't games going on. That's one thing that some of the neighbors had said to me, why can't we do more of that there? And I said, I don't know, they do a lot on the common, once in a while they'll throw one down here, but people enjoy that. I know the hot dog stand is a great business that night when they do that. But the biggest thing is I think getting something into the building is number one, I think, for stuff like that. I think the park over the years, I've been fortunate to be on for quite a while, and I was on the board when we brought the field house into the park at no cost to the town through the softball league. They came to us and graciously wanted to donate that to us, which was nice, and we just got the new dugouts in place, which were very good. And I was on the board when we were able to get the third field in there, which brought, more play in there for the league. So over the years, we've done quite a bit of improvements. I grew up there. I've been here 74 years in the same house right next to the park. And I think it's come a long way, and it's a very well maintained and good looking park. I don't know what else we could put in there other than, if we can entice some more league play or something like that.
I don't think you can understate how well that park is used by the community that surrounds it. It's a small park, so to even get, I think primarily the concern is filling the building right now so that we don't lose that. But I think that the park itself is very well enjoyed by all of the neighborhoods that surround it. So I agree.
It's people up there constantly.
Yeah, I don't think we're
Out
looking
there
to.
in it.
Yeah, I don't think we're looking to fill the park. I think right now the concern should be the structure, the building.
Yeah, a number of people have brought a number of different ideas over time for the Pine Grove. Anywhere between putting in a solar field or building residence for the elderly, or cutting all the trees down and putting an apple orchard back there like it used to be 100 years ago. And people not understanding there's an awful lot of work that goes to getting apples taken care of so that you can give them away to people. That was all done, the trees were done when they replaced the orchard that used to be there, before like 140 went through the middle of it. I don't know what you'd really do with that. It's a great overflow parking area. Whenever there's a more organized use for that place, the parking space that we have there, which we try and keep down the hill and not going too far down because of the constraints of the property, is filled up. We had the stone put in there that was donated, but it was more for believe it or not, it tends to be wet over there where the stone is, so to keep people from having trouble. But none of the rest of it really ever gets wet, other than when it pours out for half the spring, and you don't want anybody driving on it anyways.
Right.
There is the other parcel of land that we walked on, but I would kind of say, hindsight being 20/20, I wouldn't bother trying to do anything with that. The park itself is all clear, and you can walk on all of it anyways. There's people over there walking all the time, and there's plenty of parking. I think, that piece of land is, if we're gonna do something with it, we would have already. The trustees have gotten rid of a lot of land that was up there. That's just not practical. I mean, we had talked to Roger Hammond a long time ago. He wanted to include it in a study of town-owned land, and I said, Roger, have you been up there? Much like when we went over there, and when I kind of dragged him out there, he goes, yeah, I guess this would be kind of a waste. You can tell that it's just not practical to do anything with it. It costs you a fortune to do anything with it. There's a bunch of other little pieces of land that are pretty much useless too, but.
Do you mind pulling up the GIS so we could see what exactly little parcels or the extra parcel he's talking about? Is that all right?
It's gonna pop up down there just so you know.
Yep.
You gonna show you where to go?
Yeah. I'll tell you where to get off. Don't hit me.
Sorry, Will.
It's okay. I love having to skip this close to me.
I'm sure you do.
You want to be at Nelson Park?
You don't have a mouse. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I'll guide you. Oops. What happened to it?
Just calm down.
This is an honor.
Right, so that's the park proper that he's talking about. The number 9 there is the Pine Grove that's across the street.
The west.
And then down here, number 35 it's pretty much a landlocked piece of land, with the exception of lot 45, which I think was some Worcester outfit bought.
Worcester Land Trust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't get to the land from there. There's a guardrail that goes all along Creeper Hill Road, or it goes from the last house there down to the bridge. And that grade right off the road just plummets, so you couldn't, there's not really a way to get there. Elm Street Extension's really kind of narrow and tiny to do any real access to that piece of land, and it's all granite and everything. If you go with this away, I just gotta back down to, okay. Wait a minute, did we go over the railroad tracks already?
Mhm.
Yeah, go back up. Yep. All right, right out here. This 50, I think. Yeah, just click on that. It should highlight the parcel.
No, I'm 50 on the, yeah, there you go.
So that's actually 2 lots of land that are ours. And then you can continue to sally out this way. Number 90 is ours. It's periodically flooded by the furry little friends that plug up the culverts over there. And then you can go a little farther down, I think. This is 50. Yeah, I think that's it. Try 15A, clicking on that. Yeah, go down, just go down. Go down a little farther. It's just so I can, yeah, that is reference to the will right there. So yeah, that's the other piece of land that we currently own, or is the part of the residual estate that we could get rid of, as opposed to the home estate where the library is that stays.
Thank you. Yeah, I didn't appreciate that there were so many disparate.
Yeah, at one time, like over where Manning Lane and all that stuff is, that all used to be part of the trust, and Bradish's hot dog stand, the land out by Window Machine Shop, Window Lab, and all that stuff was all part of it at one time. And has been sold off.
So, I also just want to say, I didn't mean to imply that the park, the main parcel is not currently well utilized or well taken care of. When Skip and I had talked, as he mentioned, we were, kind of trying to figure out a way to access that parcel, that abuts Creeper Hill, that the Worcester Land Trust purchased the other parcel, and wondering if that's something that we could help out, look into like CPA funds to do some surveying, see if we could put in a viable trailhead there, because it doesn't seem like any of the other spots have any viability, near the roadsides and whatnot. But it was a decent walking area back there, and there's some clearly defined trails if we want to try and get people access to them. I don't know. We were just
It
would be good.
But the idea of going out there and walking around, you can see it's not practical, and it would cost money. Whereas over the park proper doesn't cost anything, because all kinds of parking there, and there's just as big an area to walk there, if not bigger, than that smaller parcel that's across the street.
Yeah, I think that going behind you, I know you just recently walked, I haven't been there in years, but from Elm Street around, I think you'd be lucky to get a quarter of a mile path through there, and you'd probably have to either fill it in or blast the, stone that's in there to make it level so people weren't stumbling all over, because it's just so unstable inside there from what I remember. And you guys were just recently in there, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, it's like a lot of granite and stuff like that inside there, all the way through
There was, but the trails all seemed to go, well, the couple that we were on seemed to go around it. It seemed like
It goes
it
around.
was a short loop, you know.
Yeah, it's real
I'd
short,
figure it was
yeah.
probably like a half mile if you did the whole, you know, kind of perimeter, but
And then the parking, like he said, you know, Elm Street,
Right.
there's nowhere on there. And you go up on Creek Hill, you're gonna have to make some kind of a ramp going down to the bottom there, because it just goes.
And that's into a swamp.
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's all a wetland right there.
If the amount would get utilized, would it be worth the investment, I guess, for the town, you know, with that? Cause I think you get a lot of play from the new apartment complex up there. Because I know a lot of them are using the property now where the pine trees are to walk their dogs and stuff. It's nice to see it. I personally, I love to see the park used with as many people as possible. I love to see the kids down there in the summer playing ball, and because I did that when I was a kid, because I lived there. You know, it's just nice to see the park come alive in the spring. You know.
Yeah, that's what everybody wants, and we've definitely appreciated that Rec has tried to host those, you know, concerts in different places, because they also identified, you know, the logistical issues that occur around the common. And again, you know, Nelson's a nice wide open space. It's got pretty
Plenty of
ample
parking.
parking. It's easy to get in and out of.
Yeah,
So,
bathrooms.
Yeah.
It's got everything there for the concerts. Not trying to take away from Rec on the Common, but I think the park has a lot more to offer for stuff like that.
yep, that's why they moved their fall festival there
Yeah.
last year too. You know,
Yep.
give them the opportunity to spread out. It was a great spot. You know, great day for that.
I think, to tell you the truth, I think that's why Jen was really in favor of moving up there. Because it was close to all the stuff that they would use for summer programs and all that kind
Right.
of stuff. We didn't have to go carting everything all around for it or anything like that, but that didn't happen, so we're kind of back to square one as far as finding something to do with the building.
Well, we have the facility assessments committee coming in later on tonight, and one of the ideas that they floated in their report was possibly trying to relocate the historical society from its current location, which is pretty dire,
That's
over
gonna
to
be discussed at their next meeting.
yeah. So
Again, Dave Terrian had come up before they moved to the library down in South Grafton. And at that time, the library was still being, but not the library side, but the meeting room side was being used to the extent that we didn't want to give that up, so they could use half of the building, and it wasn't really quite what they wanted. It wasn't big enough for them. But now we can't justify keeping it for a little bit of meeting space for meetings that might happen there from time to time, as opposed to having the whole building get put to good use. It's too much of a resource to waste.
and in their report, it rated pretty well. You know, the maintenance that's needed seemed to be pretty minimal. So, again, it's totally, you know, the ball will be in your court and back and forth with historical, but you know, could be a good idea, and something that gets that building utilized more.
I think we all know too, the longer a building stays vacant, the more people forget about it. And, well, we don't have to do anything here, nobody's there, and don't have to do that. And next thing you know, it becomes in real disarray, you know.
Yep, very much so. So, I'd like to, do something with it before it kind of hits that point
Yeah,
of no return.
yeah, it's nice now, it's still in great shape.
Yeah. So, anybody else have anything they want to add, or?
Just to circle back to the trees bit, I mean, would you guys be interested in planting more trees if that was something that you partnered with the town on, or have a thought of where you might want it if that happened?
I think, yeah, I was around when it happened, but you guys are all too newbies to have appreciated it. There was, Grafton became a tree town somewhere along the line, and they planted a whole bunch of the non-pine trees that are around up there. When the state came out and looked at all of that stuff, they said that the trees that are along 140 are all too close to the road, and the salt's going to kill them, and it's been killing them for 40 years. Those, I don't really know where the state's right of way stops as far as us cutting them down. But, the point of putting more trees up there, somebody snuck one in up there. We thought, well, I thought that it grew while I was gone for a while. I'm saying, boy, the boys didn't cut that sapling down that grew up there. And I went over and you could see somebody had cut the ground and put it in overnight. So I said, well, maybe somebody snuck in and planted it as a memorial to somebody. But I found out it was a couple of kids had to grow it for school and they thought it would be nice to just put it up there. So I watered it and grew it, but it's not the right kind according to the town's shade tree bylaw. Well, it's not one of the right kind, it's not one of the trees that are listed as approved for planting on town property.
I get you.
But, putting some back up there, I mean, the rest of those, the trees in the center will live and prosper as long as you don't change what's being done with them. The ones, the rest of the pine trees up there are shot, there's nothing you can do with them. They will all eventually come down. And then just trying to find something that will thrive up there without having to have all, water all the time or whatever, just to kind of keep it nice and parky like. And I don't know where we buy trees from,
Nurseries.
but, oh, thanks, I feel like I'm talking to myself. If the town buys trees from anybody and has some kind of agreement, and we find some, some decent trees and can kind of peck away at buying a couple a year, and, try to somewhat replace what's up there, without creating 400 cubic yards more of leaves up there, it would be very nice. So I don't really think that we need to go building anything else up there.
No, that area is getting a lot more I actually see people picnicking there from the
Oh, yeah.
apartment complex across the way. I mean, that place is getting some play instead of going down the park. They're sitting up in there, and it's a nice
Yeah.
place. I like the little elevation. They can look down.
Yep.
And they're
Yeah.
out there with their dogs all the time. So even that area is getting some play with it now. And from that, whatever it is, the 40 or 48 apartments they put in there.
Sometimes it's a drag when you're mowing, you have to cut the people up in little pieces, but
Probably try not to
There
do
it
that.
But the state wouldn't have anything to do with that.
well, the trees that are right along 140.
Yeah, but they still don't have any, I don't believe, because there's two types of state highways in Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah, see, and I don't know where the edge of the highway even stops.
But that's town maintained. It's
Oh.
town road with a state designated number. The only state highways are ones that are maintained by the state.
Well, then all the ones that are
Unless they
half
changed the
rotten
law since I was on the
have been
job.
hit by cars and stuff like that.
That would just be town.
Plant something better.
No, but it's saying it only be town approval for anything like that, I believe, nothing to do with the state.
Okay.
Just picking up trees off.
Yeah, appreciate the update and we'll just keep, doing what we're doing. In the interest of, again, being, kind of good partners and neighbors, if there's anything that we can be doing to help out or, better promote events over there, whatever the case may be, don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, I think our main concern is just get somebody in there, get something in there to
Yeah,
make sure the building gets used.
yeah, we'd like to see that too.
It's just too nice to let it just sit.
Yeah, it's nice having somebody over there, so we don't have to go running over there every couple of weeks to make sure nothing's gone wrong inside.
All right, thank you so much for coming in tonight.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, so next up, we're going to pass over the general update from the Charter Review Committee and save that for a time when all of our membership can be here. And we'll move into 1727 Upton Street Local Action Unit application. Christian, come on down.
Good evening, Select Board. So this application is prepared by MCO Housing. There's no one here from MCO Housing, is that right, Will?
We do have a couple of people on Zoom. I don't know where.
I don't think that's them.
No.
Sarah, maybe?
Sarah here?
Yep, it says her email address is at MCO Housing Services.
But I don't.
She's not.
Oh, she's
No,
not.
they're not on the call.
Participants.
Okay,
No.
no problem. I was here just in case. It was prepared by MCO Housing on behalf of the developer. I went through town review by myself. There's a number of revisions back and forth leading up to this version. Once it's signed, it'll go to the state for review to be approved, and this is all part of the process to regulate the affordable units in the 1727 building. So I can answer any questions. MCO may be a little bit more of an expert on this than me, but happy to answer any questions you might have.
I have no questions.
No, I reviewed the material in the packet, and as far as my knowledge of the process goes, it looked comprehensive and it all made perfect sense.
Yeah, could you just tell us a little bit more about applying for local action units? I don't. I could be wrong. It's been a few minutes since one of these has like come online, but I don't remember us having to go through this part of the process in the past, or maybe it's not something that we had to be connected with, or like is MCO more akin to like a CHAPA who is going to run the lottery for these, or?
Yeah, MCO is a lottery agent, so they take care of this part. They're making sure the paperwork is complete and the regulatory piece of this is approved by the state, and then they will run the lottery, and then it'll get passed over to the developer's property manager once that piece is done. For comprehensive permit developments, a lot of the times this is done before the permit is approved, but for this type of development, it's not comprehensive permit, it happens at this point in the process. So.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah. And we have had to do some of the other stuff for CHAPA. It's just not with this particular organization, so I think that's what threw me off. But thank you. Okay, if nobody else has any questions, we can take a motion.
Sure. I move the board vote to approve the local action unit application for 17 and 27 Upton Street as presented and authorize the chair to sign.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passed unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christian. Okay, next up we have our host community agreement for cannabis retail at 130 Worcester Street.
Yep, so I can take that. So we've been negotiating this back and forth. This is for a new cannabis retailer who's going to occupy the 130 Worcester Street, formerly the Discerned property. There's really nothing to update in the host agreement. The host agreements have gotten very boilerplate. It's not like it was 5 or 6 years ago where every community had all these different, kind of wild provisions in there. This is based off of the most recent iteration of what the Cannabis Control Commission has authorized through their process. So it was reviewed by the Businesses Council as well as our council, and there were really minor revisions made, nothing spectacular. Carries all the provisions, including the community impact fee, or CIF, which is up to 3%, should the municipality be able to basically itemize and bill for impacts that happen in the community. Those haven't really evolved a ton since our last business came online, which is the Hayes Cannabis, but 130, I think it's 135 Westboro Road. So it's a pretty straightforward agreement at this point. Also, this is the same version that we used for the previous one you did with Hayes Cannabis.
Great. I do see that we have Mr. Romano and Mr. Patel on Zoom. Welcome. Is there anything else you'd like to add on to that, or I guess give you an opportunity to say hi and discuss your plans for the site?
Sure. My name is Valerio Romano. I'm the attorney for Grafton Cannabis LLC. I'm here. I'm joined by Bhupin, who's the manager of Grafton Cannabis LLC. I think that was a pretty good explanation as to what we're doing. We want to revitalize the spot that has now been empty for at least a year, if not more, by Discerned Cannabis. This is a great group. They will not have sort of the same problems that Discerned ran into which a lot of groups in the Commonwealth are now. Sort of the market's sort of shaking itself out, and the ones that are able to operate efficiently and really satisfy customers are the ones that are able to remain in the market, and these guys are that. Really just sort of looking forward to working with the town of Grafton. I remember years and years ago when we first passed medical, I was in and out of there trying to do cultivation and whatnot. Happy to be back years later. If the select board, I know you have experience with this, but if you have any questions, I was a co-author of the ballot initiative. I was also on conservation in my old hometown of Cohasset. I've cited over 150 marijuana establishments throughout Mass. So I'm happy to answer any questions about this, or if there's general questions about the way cannabis works, I'm happy to answer those. But we're really looking forward to being part of Grafton and giving back.
Awesome. Great. Does anybody have any questions, comments?
Is this a one-to-one with Discerned, essentially, like the exact same sort of business with the same authorized operations are going into the same spot, into the same space?
Yes. So
Yes.
yeah.
Was it medical marijuana?
Oh, please go ahead.
No. So it is. It's we're not expanding. Well, we're not doing anything because I don't have a part to play in it. But the host agreement does not expand the use of the site. It's still a dispensary as their primary use.
My only question would be, now that the building's already built, from time of issuing the HCA to open for business, what does that time frame look like these days?
So given the fact that there's there'd be very little construction time, there's really not many changes that we're going to be making at all. We can ask the commission to come in and do inspections right away. So we could probably be open, between, and these guys are experts at this, getting wholesale products and staffing up. We could be open in less than half a year, which would be great. Given the fact that if you had to do all the construction and all the various levels of inspections, but I think we're ready to go for, just sort of the next inspection, and get them out there. And then you have to get on the agenda for them. They meet once a month to take these votes. So, that's probably a couple months away before we get the vote. And then you got to do another inspection at the end. So yeah, I mean, I'd say within half a year is a realistic time frame.
How many other retail establishments in the state does this group own and operate?
Well, this particular group and Boopin, this is his first one, but it's sort of a family, and they work together, and they have advisors who operate 3 others. So, but Boopin, it's his first one.
I believe you can only operate 3 under one umbrella, and right? Is that what the cannabis?
So it recently changed.
Oh, okay.
The governor signed an order allowing non-social equity or economic empowerment folks to operate 5, and then eventually 6.
Okay.
There's a carve out and for a 6 that gives a little some preference and some runway for social equity and economic empowerment folks. The governor signed that order. The CCC has yet to actually implement it, but in the next few months, it will be up to 5 and 6.
All right.
We don't have any sort of regulatory issue with this. These guys are, smart, and Boopin's, excited to get in the business as well.
Nice. Thank you.
Great. I have one question. Did you source an image of our town common just for tonight?
I did.
Appreciate that. Thank you. It's a nice little touch.
It's a beautiful town.
Thank you. We think so.
And I'm sitting in my bedroom. I don't know if you guys wanted to see my dogs crawling all around or not.
We're a very dog-friendly crowd too. So either way, you win-win. Okay. If nobody has any further questions, comments, input, we can take a motion.
I move the board vote to approve the host community agreement with Grafton Cannabis LLC and authorize the chair to sign.
Second.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. Thank you both for coming in tonight. Appreciate it, and hopefully see you soon.
Thank you very much for your time. Have a great evening.
You too. All right. Facilities Assessment Committee final report.
Just in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on up. I thought the town meeting voted 5 members. No, well, sorry. I had to throw that out. Will,
Ready
you
to
get the
wing it.
stuff?
Yep.
Did you get a hole in one tonight?
Oh, no, but I swung the club more than I should have. It's an awful game. It's awful. But I play once a week, so. Hang on, we gotta get this warmed up. Okay, so the Facility Assessments Committee has completed our review of all of the buildings that we were supposed to review, everything except for the school department. Dan Helms, myself, Bob Egan, Chris Mead, we inspected the buildings, we came up with the reports, and some of them are very, very good, and others are not so good. But we'll go from there. So you can go to the next slide, Will. That's not it. Is it? Go to the next one. There we go. So Grafton Fire Headquarters, we did, that was actually the first one that we inspected. And most of the items that we came up with were on the capital budget. So because time has passed, it's being repaired and fixed right now. Nothing major in this building. You go to the next one, Will. Station 2 has been renovated over the last 2 years. It has new handicap bathrooms, has new lighting, new overhead doors, new kitchen, and currently it's up for a new electric service, which I have the bids in right now for that, and some other items. Otherwise, the building, the roof is needs some addressing, but we'll get to that after. Go to the next one, Will. Station 3. Station 3 is, and I'm sure that the board's heard about Station 3. Started out as a renovation project like Station 2, but morphed into a little bit more difficult job. But at the end of this year, that station will be 100%. So new lighting, new overhead doors. You can see the picture at night, which looks absolutely gorgeous with the trucks inside, and that's getting work done on the roof. It's got all new overhead doors, all new lighting, all new air conditioning. Station 2 has air conditioning also and heating, and that's what Station 3's got. And this one had a bathroom that was just for men, small locker room on one side, and now we have a men's room and a women's room and a shower. So, I mean, you gotta go outside to change your mind, but it fits. So go to the next one, Will. Police headquarters was in really good condition. There were items that we found on our list that we had on our list that were actually fixed within a month of our inspection. And that's actually in pretty good shape. Next one. Grafton Community Television. Did we write anything down on that? No.
No.
That's been renovated, so it's in great condition, no problems at all. Next. Grafton Historical Society. We'll get into that when we get into the assessments. Go to the next one. So that's a picture in that same building, in the Grafton Historical Society downstairs. The lights are being powered by residential electric extension cords. The building is not in good condition at all. You can go to the next one, Will. That's the bathroom. That's the bathroom. Can go to the next one.
Municipal grade bucket under the sink.
That is catching leaks. The community house, that's in That's a fairly large building, and actually, you know what, well, I'll start looking at these things right now, so, community center. And I know the board got these in advance. The inspected areas, this clean the moss off the roof. You can see the moss that's on the roof from the trees that are there. And that needs to be chemically treated. That's really not a big item. That's a maintenance item. The wood decks are not structurally sound at all. They need to be replaced. And I know Cindy had talked to me about the decks, a couple of weeks ago. So, and I said that was in our
Yep.
in our report. Broken concrete on the back of the building. Now this was a school, and the downstairs, there's a downstairs to this area that has the original toilets and bathrooms in it.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
It's
It's real scary down there.
there you go.
I only went in there once and I was like, I can't
There you
do
go.
it.
You can.
I gotta get out of here.
Bob.
Yep, Mr.
Oh,
Egan.
and Bob Egan's here. He had a later tea time than I did.
How'd you hit him, Bob?
A lot, but we won.
So there's damaged wood trim. Some of it's been fixed. Some of it needs attention. The building needs to be power washed and painted. There's no insulation in this building at all. You'll see it if you can go to another picture. That's the moss on the roof. Go to the next one. This is a handicap ramp that's in the front of the building. It's the only handicap entrance to the building, and it doesn't meet current code. You know, for railings, for grade, for anything. So that needs to be taken care of. Will, the next one. That's the deck. You can go to the next one. You can see the plants growing through it. This is the downstairs. A lot of people would look at that trench right there and say it's a cow trough, for cows, but it's not. It's a trench drain. If you can go to the next one, Will. This is where it gets scary.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, the main structural portion of this building is being held up by logs,
Oh, fun.
which is not a bad thing, because the logs have been there since 1922 or something like that, and they're not moving, they're not going anywhere, but they're not legal structural systems. This area down here, there's no insulation underneath the entire building, so there's a crawl space of about 5 to 6 feet, and there's no insulation down there at all. There's water infiltration in numerous areas, and what we're suggesting on that is we'll obviously insulate it and put in a basement sealing system. Sealing, not ceiling, to control the moisture. Water enters through every window well, and that's kind of the bad part about this building. So, air blows in there and it just goes under the floors, and the building is about as efficient as an open door. Can you go to the next one, Will? This is inside the building. That stove right there is in the VFW side. That was just put in. There's no hood, there's no extinguishers, there's nothing. And then the other side over there, the picture on the other side is some of the fire load that's in the building. There's a tremendous fire load, and what I mean by that is it's stuff stacked up. No sprinklers, there's no fire alarm on the VFW side of the building. That left-hand picture is on the that was the Hassanamisco, right? The Indians on that side. So if you can go to the next one. So let me so cut trees and vegetation, install a fire alarm system, replace windows, a handicap ramp and railings, the dirt floor in the basement, the storage areas, and that total was $779,500 for that building. And then now the fire museum. Where'd it go? Okay, here we go. Fire Museum was built in 1900. In the late 70s and early 80s, the sills were replaced in this building. You can see the picture of the building, the older section of the building, the older picture of the building. You can see the plastic that's draped on the side down near the bottom, and that's because the sills were rotted. Well, the sills were repaired, but the water infiltration to the building was never repaired. So it's actually back in that same situation as it was. The problem with this building is the way to fix it is to put a structural system inside the building and actually lift up the floor and lift up the building and repair all of that. And we had questions whether there were foundations there. We can't tell if there are foundations there. There's stone there, but you know, there's no foundations. The brick veneer needs to be cleaned and repointed. The siding needs to be replaced. It needs to have gutters installed. Paint the building, repair the door and exterior trim, and replace the sills. Now, this is a 695 square foot building. And the total price is $587,000 to repair it. And that's because most of that is the jacking up the building and doing the sills properly, and that's unfortunate, you know, that it's that much money, but that's.
Is it worth preserving the building?
So I'm going to get into that after at the end. I'm not going to try to be here for forever here. So,
but that cost does not include changing the grade around the structure.
So the building itself, if you look at the side of the building, that's the property line. So everything to the outside, the left, right, only in the front, and that's mostly state property. In the back, that's the property that the town owns. So there's nothing there. There's no other property there. There's no parking.
We'd be in the same situation that if we repaired it, we're still not doing anything to remediate what's causing the damage, and we're just going to wind up in this.
Well, no, you can remediate you can fix the problem by putting gutters on the building and tracking water away from the building. That you can do. And we'll get into whether, whether it's worth it or not.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're going to go to the next one, Will. Grafton Public Library. This is a building that was, and I don't have the age. You remember the age, Dan, of the original building? Yeah, I know. It's how many years old? The addition? 5? Is it 5 years?
Yeah, roughly.
So this building has, and if you read the report, which I'm sure you have, overall the new construction and renovation was not completed with good construction practices, and the quality of the workmanship was not good. That is throughout the building. That is not just designated in one area or one space. It's inside and it's outside the building. It was just, well, I won't say what we'd say in the construction business, but that's, so you go to the next one, Will. So I think you've seen these before. Maybe Victoria, maybe you haven't, and Colleen, you haven't seen these because this was in my first original report of the flashing on the roof. This flashing was just, it's installed, but it's not doing anything. It's totally was installed properly. You can go to the next one, Will. So that picture that's in the middle, that's a drainage basin that goes into the retention area. it needs to be cleaned out. The retention area needs to be cleaned out. South Street, and I know Evan and Paul have done a lot of work on South Street, and the water seems to be controlled now. But we're suggesting that a catch basin be placed right at the end of that curb to catch the water coming down South Street, so that in heavy rain, it doesn't roll over and go into the building. We're also saying that trench drains, you can go to the next one, Will. Oh, I'm sorry, on that left-hand picture, you can see the, can you go back? On that left-hand picture, you can see the sandbags. So that leads to a doorway. And what we're suggesting is that that trench drains be installed and connected to the existing yard drains that are there. They're only like 10 to 15 feet away. And that will stop the water as it creeps up to the doors, goes into the trench drain and goes into the yard drains and into the retention area. Exterior doors, most doors had water infiltration and sandbags. Sidewalks don't slope away from the building in some cases. The brick veneer, and I don't have a picture of that. We've got thousands of pictures. The brick veneer on the Upton Street side of the building wasn't installed properly. It's supposed to be nice and straight and everything, and it looks like a, I don't know, if you look at it, your eyes start to buzz out. So, the bollards at the entrance, and I noticed recently that those have been painted, but we were suggesting bollard covers because the top of the bollards were extremely sharp, and they may have been ground down by now, but I don't know. There were roof leaks in the building. The sprinkler room was used as storage. The exterior doors have large gaps in them, not only in the new building, but in the old building. The old building wasn't addressed. There's exposed electrical on the Upton Street side of the building, where there was an old light, and it's just hanging by a wire. The glass panels in the stairway, they look really great, but the glass panels, the tops in the corners are very, very sharp. So if you don't put your hand on the handrail and you run it down the glass, you're probably going to get cut. That can be very easily fixed by just grinding the glass down and polishing it. So we didn't put a number on the drainage basins or water retention areas or the brick veneer because we can't be fixed. So that can be done by the highway department, but that had a value of $263,200. And the biggest number was $125,000 for just the roof flashing. We don't have to go through all of these. Colleen, you look like you're starting to nod off.
No, I'm holding in all my questions because you already shut me down, so I'm waiting.
I did?
Yes.
I didn't know that. I'm sorry. I'm not like that.
So can I circle back to the library before we move on?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is any of this under warranty still?
No.
Well,
No. So there's a 1-year warranty. On any construction projects, but for and I don't know how to say this, but for items that were grossly negligent, you can go back 6 years. But that requires you to go to court and get that ruling and all of that. So it's a long process, but it's 12 months. Grafton DPW. Grafton DPW is a new building, fairly new building. We don't have a big budget on this, only $37,000. The roof, which is a standing seam roof, and it has a cap on top of the standing seams come up like this, and then a cap. Oh yeah, there you go. So that's Bob's foot, and it is. Your foot comes up in a few pictures. So you can see the space between the panels right there. So, and that's brand new roof. So what happened was the top cap was not put on properly, and this problem is going to continue throughout the life of this building. The picture on the left are panel seams up against flashing for, an HVAC unit. And you can see and that building's 5 years old, right? 5 years?
Yeah, it was 2019, I think.
2019.
Yeah.
So you can see the spaces in that are created, and that's going to continue to, as the building moves, and because the roof wasn't installed properly in all areas, it's going to continue to move and it's going to continue to leak. So it's going to be a yearly process. If you can go to the next one, that's another one that is leaking. Now, metal building people, or not all metal building people, but a lot of them think that caulking is the greatest thing since the flush toilet. But it doesn't last forever. And that's what we have in this situation. Can we go to the next one, Will? So these are coolant lines to HVAC systems, to split systems. So what they did was they took regular foam insulation, they painted it white. And now it's all rotting apart. So this really needs to be replaced with some plastic, proper insulation and plastic covers and put on properly. And then it won't do this, because this is going to expose the lines. But that's pretty much it. If you guys have anything, just jump in. I'm going to go to the next one, Will. That is a hole in the vertical panel on the wall at the bottom. How that happened? No idea. You took that picture. Because I don't think I saw it. And that can be very easily fixed. That's pretty simple to fix. Other than that, the building is very nice. The floor slabs are junk. They're out of level. They're all over the place. Things like that. But again, that building was not built with a high quality. Nelson Library.
Before we move on, just to be clear, so those slabs being out of level and mispoured, that was part of a lawsuit that we won subsequent to that.
Okay.
Just to be clear.
Nelson Library was built in 1975. It served as a library up to 2020. Building hasn't been used in 6-7 years, maybe.
Predates me by quite a bit.
Yeah, by quite a bit. So this is in the building right here. That's a. Can you go back to that, Will? That's a gas stove in a closet. Not good. It was a great idea when they put it in, but it's one of those combination sink gas stoves. But this building is in amazing condition. It really is. You could put books in there tomorrow and do nothing and just let people go in. And we believe this building has a better use. And it's really, it's shown as in the cost of repair at $221,500, but the maintenance building at $100,000 really needs to be replaced. It's mostly painting, replacing some sliding glass doors. If you can go to the next one, Will. Those sliding glass doors need to be replaced, and remove the stove in the closet. It really surprised us how good that building was. And that's the storage building.
As good as that one is, this one is not.
Yeah, that's just a knock down and build a new one, and so we can go to the next one, Will. Grafton Townhouse. I think we all agree that we expected to go into this building and really, it was really going to be bad. And it wasn't. It wasn't bad at all. There are items in this building, very expensive items that need to be fixed and repaired. But the building in total was actually in pretty good condition.
Surprisingly good shape for the age.
Yeah. Window replacement. Window replacement is, let's go to this one. So, repoint the brick veneer. Now you can see on the picture on the right, the brick veneer in this building has an 1/8 inch.
I'm not even sure if that's veneer, that might be solid brick.
That could be solid brick wall, but it has an 1/8 inch brick mortar, which makes it very expensive to repoint and clean and everything.
It's the old, they called it lime mortar
Yeah.
before they had cement.
And the this portion is falling down, part of it. And go to the next one, Will. And you can see that piece of granite that's actually dropped down. That is that's got to be fixed. But and we can go to the next one because it's the other side of the building. The vines on the building are, I suppose they look nice in the summer, but they've actually crawled into the brick mortar. All that has to be taken off and cleaned and repointed, and it's very, very tedious work because the thickness of the mortar is, and the being the lime mortar is very, very difficult to do. So there's wood trim that needs to be replaced, that needs to be painted. Can you go to the next one, Will? That's an old boiler that's in the building. And we don't test for asbestos. But that could possibly be asbestos. There's also in the windows, when the windows are done, now the windows are very expensive. The windows were $518,000. And that's today. 6 months from now, that's gonna be $750,000.
Do they
What
have
you-
to be historically accurate or anything like that? And that's why they're.
So, yeah, this is bringing them back to what they were originally looked like. So, in these old buildings, there's usually asbestos caulking around the windows, and there's always lead paint. So, each window has to be remediated before you take it out, and then put the new one in. So that's the huge expense on the windows, and there's 61 windows.
And they have to be wood windows.
And yeah, they have to be wooden. So they're all custom made. Asbestos remediation, lead paint remediation. We had suggested that insulation be added to the Great Hall, up above the Great Hall. There is insulation up there, but it wouldn't hurt to have a little bit more. That is $1,343,500. Go to the next one, Will. Oh, this is a picture. I'm sorry, I didn't know that. Didn't realize these pictures were in. That's what they put over the windows to try to stop the cold in the winter. The other one was a plug that had 6 plugs in it. An outlet that had 6 plugs in it. Right there it is. That's very easily fixed. Doesn't cost anything. Just pull them out. So see that ripple in that paint and the crack in that paint usually indicates lead paint. And that's in all of the windows. Here's some of the windows that have insulation over them and have been blocked in with wood. You can keep going, Will. Dan, you took that picture, and I don't know what it is.
Going up the stairs.
Oh, okay.
The door should be weather stripped.
Oh, okay. Okay. Municipal Center. Overall, if you've never been down underneath this building, you should go. Because it's pretty, it's pretty neat. They did a great job.
So that's
And-
the floor that should be put in the South Grafton Community Center.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah. So this building was in excellent condition. Really no problems at all. You can go to the next picture, Will. So this had 2 cracks in the masonry, one at the back of the stage and one in the front corner of the gym. The crack in the back of the stage goes floor to ceiling, but it doesn't go through the veneer. So which gives you the indication that it was either cracked prior to the veneer going on, or there's a big space in there that's not insulated and, you know, some water get in there or something. There's, water, that's efflorescent, called efflorescence, that's the white stuff that's on the walls. That can be cleaned very easily and painted. Go to the next one. That is a rotted, floor in the back of the stage, which had, water leaks, roof leaks on that for many years, and that just needs to be repaired. The total of all of that is $81,000. Oh, this is yeah. We found this. There's two of these. These are emergency boiler shutoffs in public corridors.
Yeah, someone could just reach up
Boop, shut the heat off. So we're just suggesting to put a cage over them or relocate them someplace else. Just out of the hallway. There's one in the back hallway coming in down there, and then there's one right outside the janitor's office. So, what's next, Will? Nothing. Okay. So, did we do everything? Yeah, we did. So, do you have any questions?
Sort of.
Okay.
So you answered my question about the warranty, but to go back to the fire museum, is it worth preserving it?
So that's a good question. There's a couple of facilities that we feel are in that same boat.
Right.
And you know what I'd like to see the board do is appoint a committee to go through all of these reports and to come up with a plan of what to do with some of these buildings. In my opinion, is the historical fire museum worth putting that much money into? No, that's my opinion. And I think you guys agree with that.
Yeah.
Nelson
has no handicap access.
No.
It's a fire waiting to happen.
Plus, the artifacts are in the historical society are
So-
basically priceless.
So we'll go to the, and I call it the South Grafton Library, but it's the historical building. Have you ever been in there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just the main.
I never got to go in. I never went in there at all until we inspected it. I got to tell you something.
It's nice.
There are some beautiful artifacts in that building. It's unbelievable. But the building is not good. It has moisture problems, it has heating problems, it has window problems. You
Handicap access problems.
cannot put handicap,
We'll bring that up to handicap code.
you couldn't even bring it up to handicap code. You saw that bathroom, that's, you know, I mean, and that's a real problem. But Nelson Library, an unused building, would be fantastic for
You
the
can house them
historical.
both in there.
You could
Yeah,
put
fire
both,
museum and the
right. So the fire museum is only the downstairs.
Mhm.
That's it. The upstairs is just furniture, but I mean, it's antique furniture and stuff like that. It has nothing to do with fires. You know, fire building or history or anything like that. So, like I said, I'd like to see that the board put together a committee that would go through these and say, and answer that question, Colleen. You know, come back to the board and say, you know what? It's not worth it, or it is worth it, or this is how we're gonna pay for it, and this is how we're gonna do it. So,
In your opinion, is there any urgent need? Like when I heard the South Grafton Meeting House doesn't even have a fire alarm, my thought goes to insurance, right? Like if something happens, like should we go get a fire alarm up there just to while you guys are figuring out everything else?
well, let's put it this way. You know, it's not gonna hurt to put a fire alarm in there. The problem is that integrating it with the fire alarm that's on the left-hand side of the building and trying to do that. That's a pretty old system, so, you know, you'd have to put in a whole brand-new system in the.
There is an alarm in a portion of the building.
Yeah, in a
Just
portion.
doesn't go throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the fire museum doesn't have alarms. The, historical, they don't have alarms. That's.
The fire museum doesn't have a smoke detector at
No.
all?
Probably not, nothing.
Nope.
Interesting.
Don't even have a lock on the door.
No, the
Walk
locks,
right in.
the lock, we walked.
I've
right
never
in.
been in there, so I can just
Open the door
go.
and walk in.
Just go down there.
There's no parking.
There's no parking.
It's also
I
very
can walk.
ironic.
There's no parking. There's no parking at the Historical Society either.
Right.
Other than the lot that's in the back, which is the town's, which the people in the village use that to park their cars and campers and other stuff. But there's no parking down there either. It's, Nelson Library is a gem and should be used. You know,
Nelson Library's built like a bomb shelter.
it is.
And you could add on to it fairly easily, you know, if need be. And like the committee before, the trustees, you know, it's used a lot. So now you'd have the museum, that would be accessible to not just Grafton people, but all the softball tournaments, everything else. You get a lot more traffic than it does now, which it needs, you know, like Ray said. I mean, the historical, wealth in there is really impressive, you know, and they did a ton of work. you
They
know.
did. They did a
And-
ton of work.
And we can understand why they don't wanna move again, you know, but, it's really a great resource that should be protected and utilize a nice resource that we already have, you know?
And the downstairs, the basement has water infiltration and they have dehumidifiers down there. There are newspapers down there.
Yeah.
There are documents down there. They're closed down there and it's just not a good thing at all.
No, none of those conditions are conducive to storing anything like
No,
that. you know,
no,
safely.
but, you know, I can see, you know, Dave was there when we were looking at it, and it's an enormous amount of work to pick up everything in that building and move it. And it can't be done with volunteers, it has to be done professionally. And if you had it done professionally, hire somebody to move to,
Right.
you know, Nelson Library, then it would be, you know, it'd be easy for them. They're just not, they don't wanna move.
Cause they moved from South Grafton Community Center, right?
No, they moved from the town hall, the old town hall.
Yeah.
And not too long ago either. Yeah, we understand the pain, but at the same time, if all of the historic artifacts are in active risk right now, that's
There's some-
And they are.
There's some real priceless artifacts. in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
And Nelson, they're looking to get something in there.
Yeah.
You know, this really does seem like it would be a good fit. We did, I mean, Dan was here for the earlier part of the meeting they were in, and we did float that idea, and they said, I think historical's gonna be meeting soon to discuss the idea and talk through it again, but, you know, yeah, hopefully. 'Cause
yeah, perfect
To
spot.
me, it seems like just such a win-win for both parties.
I mean, there's a parking lot, there's, you know, you got the fields and
Yeah,
all of that.
and
It's
like
just-
Dan said, you know, as a parent of somebody who has played sports and whatnot, you know, you might get a little bored while the game's going on. You wander around, you know, the foot traffic there would be so much better.
Yeah,
I wonder if you could use CPA funds too to move from South Grafton over to Nelson because you're preserving everything.
that's always an option, Colleen, you know, that's, you know.
Because you,
the-
like you said, you couldn't use volunteers, you have to have it done professionally, so
Yes.
it's because of these restrictions, would it qualify for CPA? I don't know.
Yeah. So the total for all the buildings was $4,219,200. And that number goes up every single day.
right.
So, you know, like I said, a committee to implement this report and come up with solutions and how to do this and how to do that. And, you know, there are items on here that, do they need to be done tomorrow? No, they don't need to be done tomorrow, but they need to be done. So, you know, fortunately, all of the heating and plumbing systems were in really good condition, you know, and that's where your big money is, you know. But every 10 years, any building that has a full HVAC system should have, you know, a run-through of the thing and things replaced.
So did you do GCTV or no?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We
I
didn't
don't
write
think I
anything
saw
down,
it.
and I don't think we took any pictures.
No, that's a
because-
great building.
That's a great building.
But just to keep it in the report, so when they go to
It's-
redo this report and,
Yeah, it's in there.
Yeah, it's in there.
all right, I didn't see it, but.
I think the other question is, besides, is how now if we do move the historical society, what do we do with that property? You know, how do we utilize that for the needs of the town? I mean, we need affordable housing, we need senior housing, that's a property you could probably put something in there, that's useful for the town. As part of Ray's suggestion for the committees, South Grafton Community Center, I mean, they got land behind there, right?
It's a big lot.
That's a
So you
big
got
lot.
lot behind there, can you utilize that building and make it, mixed use in terms of senior housing, other affordable housing behind it, that type of thing? So how do we, based on the fact we just went through an override, how do we show the town that we're thinking outside the box to utilize land that right now is costing us money? It's not bringing any revenue back into the money, it's minimal usage, effectively. So how do we do so I think to Ray's point, those are the questions that need to be looked at as well, as to how do we, do the best for the town and the resources we have, and make the resources we have better,
Yep.
So I think it's, we've got some great buildings, as Ray said, almost all the buildings were in good shape, except for the ones that we've identified, and it's just it needs a little bit more, tender loving care, to think about,
Yep. Even like the fire stations, the $100,000 a year to put into updating a fire station has gone very well. It's gone very well. It's
How many times did you do the floor in the station number 2?
yeah. How many times did I do the floor? Yeah, that wasn't in the
Sweat
100 grand.
equity, sweat equity.
That wasn't in the 100 grand, but that program, that program works fantastic. And you can chip away at some of this stuff, but some of the other stuff, you gotta come up with some money.
Thank you guys for doing this. It's a ton of work that you undertook, and it shows, and it's very helpful. And so you're asking to have either a new committee created or an expansion of this current group.
Well, I don't know. That's up to you guys. What I'd like to get on, get people. I mean, we're all construction. All 4 of us are construction people, and I'd like to get people to look at some of this stuff and look at some of these buildings and different people that come up with
Economic development team.
come up with an idea. Hey, should we do something with the fire museum? I mean, should we do
Yeah.
something with the the old South Grafton Library? I mean,
In my mind, there's sort of two outcomes from this report, which again was an incredible amount of work. One is the obvious sort of laundry list of items that can be placed on the capital plan as to be prioritized with everything else. And then there's the more strategic, larger questions about the properties or bits and bobs that aren't necessarily obvious capital projects to repair flashing on the library, right? That's one thing, but the larger overarching question, what do we do with the Historic Society building? What do we do with the fire museum? What do we do with What Grafton Common? I think that has to be on the table too, because $1.3 million is a very, very
Right.
big number.
do you keep it? Do you sell it? Do you
What's amazing to me is the town's done a great job tapping into the Green Communities funding, over the years, and then the energy performance contract, which did this building, the South Grafton Community Center's never been looked at. It's never, there's no information on it, I know I worked on a performance contract, we did data collection for that, but, it really not a true reflection of the cost of operating the building, because it wasn't used, so everything was that low. But that's one step maybe to get a better handle on the costs of insulation, and then we can tap into green communities probably and get some funding for that, maybe, if that's the way we go. Or at least that gives us a little bit more fun, idea of how to make it a little bit more, livable if we wanna expand it and utilize it. I mean, you got a great, cause it was the school, you got that big cafeteria area, you know, so.
I think that's clever. There's a huge lot behind there.
There is.
Yeah, this is an excellent
is.
point. It's a great area too.
Okay. So, to your question, Colleen, I mean, I would like to be on the implementation committee. You know, I don't know about Dan and Bob, but, and probably would, but to make it more people.
Yeah.
So, we started off with 6, and two left after the first meeting. And I didn't offend anybody.
I doubt you did.
I mean,
So
I
you,
don't know, what do you think?
it would probably just be easiest to then create a whole new committee.
I would think.
And you like a larger size committee.
Yeah.
And then probably and have some public outreach in as part of your charge so that you
Yep.
can get some feedback for some of these ideas and
Yep.
and that's where you guys are going. Okay.
I'd like
Yeah.
being a team.
But not take a lot of time to do it.
No, we'll get
You know,
it
we've got the
on the
reports,
next
we've got
agenda.
the buildings, you know. No, I'm not talking about you guys.
Oh.
Not give the committee, you know, 2 years to, you know, to get it done. Because 4.2 million in 2 years is gonna be 6.5. So,
right. I mean, these numbers could be changing, you know, daily. I love the idea of creating a new, very specific committee to create actionable plans for this. But again, knowing that some of these things likely don't require going through committee, they require being prioritized on capital. I wonder if that's something that we do, is we sort of, as we create the charge, is we're a little prescriptive. And ensure that, you know, the capital improvement planning committee takes the obvious pieces and runs with those.
Yeah, I agree, and you know, Ray and I spoke a little bit about this earlier, but I think to like CIPC's benefit, if this part of the charge, part of what the implementation and feasibility committee does is go through and, like we said, it kind of identify some of the lower hanging fruit, the things that we can knock off fairly easily. Overall, and not necessarily for each specific building, but just, hey, these are the things, but also pairing up, if you're going to do, X upgrade, you should consider doing Y at the same time, so that we're, doing whatever this planning is as efficiently as possible.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So if we could kind of get them to dial that in, and then I think that helps benefit CIPC and figuring out where it folds into the overall capital plan and how they move it forward, whatever the case may be.
All right, I buy that. That makes total sense.
But yeah, I mean, it
There are
sounds like
efficiency gains to be made if it's one governing body. That's fair.
so. Yeah, this it was a bit of a roller coaster going through here, because there were some good things, or some surprises. I felt like that things were in much better shape than I anticipated, and other things that are, definitely in worse shape than I anticipated. But it was very thorough, and truthfully, I enjoyed reading through it. I appreciated the level of detail, pricing everything out, and you guys came in under timeline too. I want to call that out, because you
I
had,
don't remember what the timeline was.
yeah.
I don't know. You could have done it faster.
Well, even a blind squirrel finds a nut, but
Yeah.
you did it anyways. You came in under the radar, so thank you. Appreciate you
Okay.
coming in
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks,
gentlemen.
Nick.
Really appreciate it.
tonight. There is a possibility that we ask you to come back in the future and talk about this again, but
Just don't make it on a golf night.
we'll do our best to avoid that.
Well, especially when we have a tea time at 5:30, so. Like,
That was 5:40, it was dark when I was
Thank you.
You guys need to book your tea times better.
Right. This is not a select board problem.
Can we have this report put somewhere on the website so people can find it easily? Thank you.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
This is phenomenal, and the way they put the report together is so data rich and easy to follow. These are really
Hey, Ray.
Ray, top-notch work. This is great.
Yeah, I agree. I was really impressed with the end result. It's good to go through. Okay, so again, we are going to skip the earmark survey results so that we can discuss that closer to full capacity. And we will end our new business with the road closure request for the Apple Pie Social on September 27th. That's an annual thing. We did not require them to come in for this because we do it for them every year. So, barring any comments, questions, or pushback from the board, I think we can just go right to a motion.
I move the board vote to approve the closure of Grafton Common on September 27th, 2026 as requested.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Select board reports.
I just wanted to call out Grafton Rec for an amazing Grafton night. Is that what we're calling it?
Grafton Day.
Grafton Day. Held at night. It was amazing. A lot of work, and it really showed. And it was awesome seeing the community come out and enjoy all of the things they had to offer, all of the crafting fairs, and just getting my favorite part was getting to see the kids all reunite like right before school starts. They got to hang out for the night. They got to do the bounce houses. Ask me anything. The most amount of people ever to walk by that ask me anything without a question. Not a lot of stopping, but we tried.
Yeah, I think my takeaway was, other than the fact that it was an incredible event and the hard work and volunteerism that went into making that happen was obvious and apparent, was that folks were not in the mood to have serious discussions, and I think that is perfectly fine. So lesson learned. It was not a great venue for the official Ask Me Anything, but I'm glad that we were still there, to just represent the board. But we in all fairness, should probably do a makeup Ask Me Anything that's a little more official.
That sounds fair.
Yeah. That was a lesson learned.
Yeah, I think it is probably fair, with the community engagement. I think if you want to talk with Amber about getting something set up, then
maybe at Nelson Library. I've never been inside.
I've never been inside either. What a phenomenal
Sounds like
idea.
they're looking for something to do down there.
Yeah. Hosting us.
Yeah, I would reach out to Skip beforehand and make sure it's in a condition where it can host people. It was pretty minimal on the furniture the last time I was in there, but
fair enough.
A lovely idea if actionable.
Okay.
Yeah, the dovetailing on that, the Grafton Day was amazing. Are you gonna speak? Are you gonna talk about it at all?
Grafton Day?
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about it from a thanking staff standpoint.
Okay. Well, I didn't want to step on any toes because I get to be behind the scenes a little bit and heard from the fire chief talking about the emergency management. Are you gonna?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll stay off it then.
Why stop now?
No, just they had the opportunity to set up down at the bottom of the hill. Some of us got, I think, a little overly comfortable and just kind of walked through the lines. Guilty. We're like, hey guys, how's it going? But it was actually their emergency management scene, and they were flying 2 drones out of there.
Yep.
It was just the chief praised it as really good practice, an exercise that they don't get to do all that often. The actual like software and paperwork side of it. So it was really good practice for them doing that part of it as well. Heard so many good things just kind of walking through the crowd and listening to people's levels of excitement for the vendors, for the bounce houses, and it was pretty spread out across the municipal campus, as we called it, with everything, the beer garden down at GCTV, and then food trucks on one side, bounce houses in the back, and the tents on the other side. So to have all those people moving around that area successfully, I think was a big win. And to your point, yeah, Rec put so much effort into it. So many happy residents. I hope it's something we're able to do again next year. We also got to attend the India Independence Day last weekend as well, which again has been an annual event that the board has been proud to participate in and attend. It's just you know, it's a nice, rich cultural heritage event. There's so many great people to talk to. We always have a good time. The weather was amazing that day. It was, you know, we had been in one of those warm spells and it was just kind of cool and dry, and yeah, big fan.
You gonna mention Tufts?
Oh, no, go ahead.
Okay. So there was a beam signing ceremony at Tufts, and there was two parts. I missed the first part because I had kids. So you attended that part, which is why I kicked it over to you.
Sorry.
But I did sign the beam, and I got to bring my kids down, and that was really fun. And they actually got to sign it too, which was pretty cool.
Yes, as part of the construction of the new veterinary learning center, they had a beam out that's, you know, nicely finished and open to students and staff to sign and put well wishes. So we were able to, you know, it was a midday thing, so it was kind of difficult for everybody to attend, but we were able to get over there, sign that, schmooze a little with Senator Moore and Representative Meridian, Dean Cribb, you know, learn a little bit more about the project. It's about a $25 to $30 million project. Gives them the potential to add up to, I think, 150 students more each additional year. It'll consolidate some of the student services on that side of the road so they don't have to cross the street. Some of the temporary buildings and other parking areas will come down to make a nicer green quad for the student base. Seems like a really cool project. So, yeah, it was neat to be able to put our mark on that for, you know, all time.
Okay. No real changes to Route 122. I'm just going to keep this slide in here so that as we do have things happen, we will update the board. Keep going, Will. Not a lot changed from our last meeting as far as paving goes, with the exception of we continue to work on George Hill. We have gone on the right-hand side, if you're starting on Leland, all the way up pretty much to the intersection of Soap Hill, and now we're coming back the other direction as far as widening. They will then come back and do, once that's done, they'll start removing stumps, and we're gonna have to wait for National Grid to move the poles, because now we've got poles that are 3 and 4 feet into the road, so they've got to be reset. So all of that is in process, and they're making a good dent in it, so it's nice to see.
I just want to call it the Faulkner and Waterville on there too. You know, those were fairly recent road takings. This is the first paving that we've given them, and they are smooth.
Yeah,
huge upgrades for those two areas.
Yeah, they came out really nice.
Yeah.
Other updates: the senior center ramp is almost complete. We have to let it cure, and then we will come through and put the railings back on, and then she'll be ready to go. So really happy with the way that project's going out. Will's been spearheading that, so we're pretty close. We did have a senior stop by to ask us if we could add railings to it.
It's a good idea.
I thought so too.
For the record, the railings will go back up the first half of next week.
First half of next week. There you go.
Great.
All right. And the pavilion that we're putting out near the on the other pad near the exercise court will be installed on the 3rd of September. So looking forward to that.
Is that a one-day thing?
I don't know how long it is, to be honest with you. I think it is, but could be 2. So property acquisitions, we continue to do, working on North Street, trying to drum up a purchase and sale for that so we can start really negotiating that. 27 Stowe, we continue to work on the title search. I think I mentioned last time that the owner of the property had passed. That is going to have to go through probate, so that's going to probably slow that down a bit. So we'll just leave that as something we're working on, and then we can do the title in lieu and or the deed in lieu, excuse me, and then bring it to whatever town meeting is most adjacent to that. The rec, I thought I'd have more of an update, but our meeting today got canceled and moved to Thursday, so don't really have anything since the last time I haven't met with that group since you have met. case you hadn't heard, flock is fairly controversial these days in the state of Massachusetts and elsewhere. All of our flock cameras went offline on Friday the 21st at 11:52 p.m. We are waiting an estimate for removal and working through contract cancellation. We've been working on that pretty much since today. The little gap between when we pulled the plug on Friday and today, but we're gonna keep working on that. The Municipals podcast, I just wanted to update all of our rabid fans. Our latest guest was Leah Cameron. I believe that's up now.
Yep.
She's our conservation agent. I think that was a nice little podcast. And then I just wanted to touch on, people have probably seen it in the news. Amazon drone delivery will be coming to Grafton. The advisory we got says that it's 6 miles from the Westboro location. The map that we saw recently in the press at the Westboro, I think it was actually their planning board. It was the first place that came up. It looks like it's farther than that, but I don't understand how all of it works yet, so we'll have to kind of see. I did reach out to some of our sister communities that are also outside of Westboro, but are also getting deliveries, and Amazon has not come to any of them, and doesn't look like they're going to come before any of them. There is no local authority that deals with drone delivery.
It's the Federal Aviation.
It's all FAA, and FAA has already approved this project. So, I am in contact with, like I said, our sister communities that are also going to be receiving drone delivery, and we're going to kind of talk through seeing if we can get some more information. But just for folks' edification, they're 5-foot drones, 5-foot square, essentially. I think they're actually 5 rotor as well, 5 sets of blades. They are going to be moving at about 65 to 70 miles an hour. They will come out of the factory or the delivery center. They're going to go straight up to about 125 feet, and then they'll climb to between 200 and 250 feet as they go to their delivery spot. They will then descend to roughly 13 feet, deliver their package, I believe via like a grapple looking thing, cable thing. And then they will ascend back up to between 350 and 400 feet and head back to the facility. Every one drone operator on site will operate 10 drones. And they don't, I find it interesting. They don't have cameras. They use LiDAR as far as how they navigate the environment, which is essentially what, if you have a consumer drone, they use for like collision avoidance. So should be pretty interesting. And the advisory that we saw didn't come from Amazon. The advisory we saw came from the state's drone unit to our drone unit, because there's no collision avoidance like there is on an airplane with a ADS-B or any kind of transmitter. They're transmitting, but our drone won't see their drone. So when we're doing public safety operations, we have to worry about their traffic. So we've got to figure out how to navigate that. Okay.
It's wild to me that they're letting them operate in kind of that general
Same place as consumer drones?
Yeah.
Should be interesting. Okay. I had more to say on it, but it's real technical and nobody's going to care. Grafton Day, I just wanted to call out some of our departments. So Recreation, specifically Adam LaPointe. I know he put a ton of work into this idea, bringing it to fruition, which was awesome. Our Highway Department did a ton of work over the week preceding it and also the day of. with barricades and cones and moving things and doing all kinds of stuff. Grafton Police did a ton of work planning, and then also obviously on site they were operating their drone to get compliance to even set off fireworks and using the thermal imaging to check out the woods around the where it's actually going to launch from instead of having to do boots on the ground. It was pretty neat. Grafton Fire was part of a command post, so they had people deployed on the ground, but they also had a boat out on Lake Ripple, and they had a fire watch that has to be established from when the fireworks show up in Grafton until they're launched. There has to be a firefighter on site. So they did that the whole cycle, which is pretty impressive. They also set up a command post along with our friends at Grafton Emergency Management and Massachusetts Emergency Management, and staffed that up. As they had at least one lost child reunification. So all of that worked as they had planned, which shows why you do those type of things. So that's really cool. And then Parks and Cemetery also, pitched in, helped out quite a bit. So I had gotten this list from Adam and Rec. He had emailed me over the weekend just saying, these are all the things that we had help with that we wouldn't have been able to do with a essentially 4-person rec department, right? So really great. A lot of departments, our town departments came together and I think made a really good event. So very proud of our staff and thankful for the state resources that also helped us with that. So really cool. All right, motion to adjourn.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Any correspondence anybody wish to discuss? Take a motion on meeting minutes.
I move the board vote to approve the meeting minutes for January 13th and February 3rd of 2026 as written.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
And Evan's favorite part.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
Thank you.